Chapter 12. Cory and I insisted on a new match. Miss Anderson didn't really understand, but she said if we wanted it so badly, we could do it. Word got around school and a lot of kids showed up to watch. Some kids called it a grudge match. I think that's why a lot of them came. Also, word had gone around school that I'd tossed my racket and knocked Miss Anderson to the ground. I think some kids were waiting for me to lose it again. But I didn't lose it. This time, I won. This time, the sun hid behind the clouds when I was facing it, and when we switched court sides, it shone brightly again and blinded Cory. So I won 2-0. Good luck. Either you have it or you don't. I was so happy I let out a shout of victory and leaped over the net. Cory just stood there shaking his head. I could tell by the upset look on his face that I had him worried. I knew I could win the sports camp scholarship easily, with the help of the Vulture Claw, of course. I laughed and tried to joke with Cory, but he didn't want to talk. He turned and stomped away, angrily slapping his fancy new tennis racket against his hand. I saw Laura flash a warm smile from the side of the court. She gave me a double thumbs up. Too bad, Laura, I thought. You and Cory don't stand a chance now. I pulled out the ugly black claw and kissed it. Then I tucked it under my shirt. I hummed to myself all the way home. I felt like dancing or skipping. I let myself in and tossed my tennis racket case and backpack on the floor. I heard heavy footsteps in the hall. Arfie barked and came running to greet me. Hey, down, boy, down. Why did I say that? He never listens to me. Arfie's so big he doesn't obey a single command. He knows he can do whatever he feels like. Arfie, please. He leaped on me, pressing his big paw on my shoulders. I stumbled back against the wall. Stop, I cried. He was frantically licking my face. My cheeks dripped with thick slobber. Stop it! I tried to push him off. He pawed at my t-shirt collar. Hey! I let out a cry as he grabbed the vulture claw in his teeth. With a hard tug, he snatched it off the rope. No! I screamed. Arfie clamped the claw in his teeth. Then he pushed off from my chest with both paws. He spun around and galloped out of the room. No, Arfie! Come back, I wailed. It isn't a dog toy. Oh, no! Come back with that. Chapter 13. I chased him down the back hall. He ran into my parents' room and tried to jump on their bed, but I tackled him around his middle and wrestled him to the floor. I made a grab for the vulture claw, and it slid easily from between his teeth. He snapped at it, but I swung it out of his reach and rolled away from him. Not a toy, I shouted. Not a toy. Arfie made a whimpering sound. He stared up at the claw. I studied it carefully. It was dripping with saliva. One of the talons was torn just a little bit. Not too bad. Bad dog, I scolded Arfie. But he was already trotting out of the room, his tail wagging. Dogs have very short attention spans. I tried to dry off the claw on the front of my shirt. Then I slid it back in place. Close call, I muttered. Arfie almost ruined my good luck. Of course, he didn't know what he was doing. He was just being a dog. But I needed this good luck charm. Needed it, like breathing. I let out a sigh of relief. The claw felt good against my chest. I vowed I'd keep it snug and safe from now on. I started up the stairs to my room. I was nearly at the top when my shoe caught on something. A lump in the carpet? Ow! I let out a scream as I lost my balance. I fell hard onto my side, hit my head, and bounced all the way down. Bump, 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 bump. I landed at the bottom. The surprise took my breath away. My heart was racing. Pain rolled up and down my body. I didn't move till I could breathe normally. Then I sat up with a groan. The back of my neck ached. My left ankle throbbed. I tested it. It wasn't broken, but it sure hurt. Oh, wow, I muttered. Wow, I shook my head, trying to shake away the dizziness and pain. Groaning, I climbed to my feet. That's not supposed to happen, I said to myself. I'm supposed to have good luck. Then I thought, well, I didn't break my neck. I could have broken my ankle or arm. I guess the claw kept me from seriously hurting myself. I pulled it out from under my shirt. I turned it over in my hand. The fall didn't crush it or anything. I kissed it and tucked it back in. Then I started back up the stairs. This time, I gripped the banister as I climbed. My ankle still throbbed, but I could stand on it. I stepped into my room. One of my baseball posters had fallen off the wall. It was lying upside down on the floor. I rolled it up and leaned it against the wall. I'll tape it back up later, I decided. I sat down at my desk and opened the laptop. I powered it on and waited for the screen to light up. Miss Harrison puts her homework assignments online every afternoon. I went to our school site to see what work I had to do. The page started to come up, but then the screen suddenly went black. I heard a sizzling sound like bacon frying on the stove. "What's up with that?" I muttered. And then I jumped to my feet as black smoke poured from my laptop. I knocked the desk chair over as I staggered back 2 or 3 steps, and then I gasped as bright orange and yellow flames flickered over the keyboard. My laptop! It was on fire! Chapter 14. I stared in horror as the flames danced over the keyboard. My panic lasted only a few seconds. I dove forward and slammed the lid shut. Would that put out the flames? Black smoke sizzled up from the back. Then the smoke faded away. Silence. I didn't move. I froze there, holding my breath, waiting to see if the flames would shoot up again. Finally, I touched the lid. It wasn't hot. I flipped it open. The flames were gone. The keyboard was charred black. A lot of the keys had melted onto one another. Ruined. It was totally destroyed. How did that happen? I just powered it on and it burst into flames. I knew my parents would take it back to the store and buy me a new one. But all my work was lost. My history notes were on it, and my book report that was due next Friday, and science stuff. My birthday party photos, the photos I snapped on the class trip, all lost. I stared down at the black melted keys. What bad luck. I felt the vulture claw pressing against my chest. I pulled it out and studied it. It seemed okay, except for the little tear on one talon. "What's wrong with you?" I asked it. "Where's the good luck? You've got to come through for me now." That night, I couldn't sleep. I felt jumpy. I couldn't lie still. I forced my eyes shut and tried counting down from 1,000, but I couldn't concentrate. I turned onto my side, then I tried the other side. I felt like a restless animal in a zoo, the kind that prowls its cage back and forth, poking its snout through the spaces between the cage bars. I sat up and rested my head against the headboard. The bedroom window was open and white moonlight poured in. Silvery white moonlight, almost as bright as day. I shut my eyes, but couldn't force out the light. I knew I was sleepy. My eyelids were heavy. I had to sleep, but my brain was spinning, and the bright white light, the light was calling me, forcing me to my feet. I stood up. I paced my room, my bare feet cold against the carpet. I have a long, narrow room, not much room to pace. Like a caged animal, I thought again. I spotted my guitar propped against the closet door. I lifted it up and carried it to the bed. I propped it in my lap. Playing the guitar always relaxes me. I balanced it on my lap. Then I started to strum. Something was wrong. It didn't sound right. It didn't feel right. I squinted into the moonlight. I raised my hand and opened my mouth in a scream of horror. My hand! Where was it? What happened to my hand? I gaped in disbelief at the ragged talons and thick feathers. My hand had turned into a claw. Chapter 15. My talons curled around the guitar neck. The strings all started to pop. Pop, 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 pop! The final pop was loud enough to wake me up. Huh? I stared at the ceiling. Shadows shifted above my head in a pale square of moonlight. I'm lying in bed, I realized. I was asleep. It was a dream. Yes? I raised both hands from under the covers. Yes, I had 2 hands, no giant bird claw. A nightmare, but it seemed so real. I could still see every detail, still see the big feathery claw at the end of my arm wrapping around the guitar neck. I never have nightmares. I mean, really never. Not since I was a little kid. Usually I can't remember my dreams at all. But mostly my dreams were about kids at school and my parents and playing sports. Boring stuff. Never nightmares. Never horrifying dreams that wake me up screaming. Or was I only screaming in the dream? I checked out my hand again just to make sure. They were fine, perfectly normal hands. My heart was still beating hard. A shiver rolled down my body. It was warm in my room, especially under the covers. So why was I shivering? I pulled up the vulture claw to examine it. Yes, I wore it when I slept. I wasn't taking any chances. I wanted good luck for 24 hours a day. The light from outside was dim. I raised the claw close to my face and squinted hard at it. I gasped when the 3 talons moved. It can't be alive. It can't be. It's just the darkness, I murmured to myself. The nightmare, it upset me. I'm seeing things. But to my horror, the claw leaped from my hand. It snapped forward and grabbed me by the throat. Ugh! I made a choking sound as the talons gripped my skin. They tightened, wrapped around the skin under my chin. Choked me. Ugh! Tighter, tighter. The claw squeezed so hard I wanted to scream in pain. But I couldn't scream. I couldn't breathe. The claw gripped my windpipe. Ugh! Ugh! I couldn't make a sound. I struggled to pull it off with both hands. It was too strong, clamped on too tightly. I couldn't budge it. Oh no! I knew what was happening. It was going to kill me. Chapter 16. Lee, are you okay? Lee, what's your problem? I opened my eyes to see Mom and Dad rushing into my bedroom. Dad clicked on the ceiling light. He was in his striped pajamas. Mom was tying the belt on her blue bathrobe. Her hair fell in tangles over her face. The bright light made me blink. It took a few seconds for everything to come into focus. I realized I was sitting on the edge of my bed. My pajamas were all twisted, and my face prickled with cold sweat. Glancing down, I saw that I was holding the claw tightly in front of me. What was that scream? Dad asked, leaning over me. Did something frighten you? I I cleared my throat. I raised the claw up to him. It grabbed me, I said. It was choking me. Mom uttered a short cry. She brushed her hair off her face with both hands. Her eyes were on the vulture claw. Lee, what is that thing? It's something I got in the mail, I said. Dad ran a finger over my throat. He squinted at me, turned my head gently from side to side. You had a nightmare, he said softly. Yes, a nightmare, Mom repeated. She shivered. That ugly thing would give me nightmares, too. Dad, no, I stammered. It wasn't a nightmare. It was real. It grabbed my neck and... No. Dad raised a hand, motioning for me to stop. There aren't any marks on your neck, Lee. No pinch marks, no scratches, nothing. It was a dream, Mom said, coming up behind him. Weird, she added. You never have nightmares. I blinked. I gazed down at the claw. It wasn't moving. It was stiff and still. What just happened to me, I wondered. Was it a nightmare inside a nightmare? Well, in the first nightmare, I had a claw instead of a hand. Maybe I never woke up from that dream. Maybe I slid right into the next dream and dreamed that the claw snapped over my windpipe. That had to be what happened. A dream inside a dream. One frightening nightmare after another. I settled back under the covers. Dad pulled the blanket under my chin. Maybe you should put that ugly claw away, Lee, he said. Yes, if it's giving you bad dreams, throw it away, Mom said. No way, I replied. I tucked the claw under the blanket. It's a good luck charm. It brought me a lot of good luck. Good luck? It doesn't look like a good luck charm to me, Mom said, shaking her head. She let Dad out the door. They clicked the light off. I lay there on my back in the darkness. I could feel the claw resting lightly on my chest. Thump, 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 thump. The heavy thumping was my heart, right? It wasn't the claw thumping against my chest, right? Right? Chapter 17. The next morning it was hard to wake up. Dad is my alarm clock. He shouts, "Wake up, rise and shine," into my room every morning at 7. It usually takes only one shout, but this morning he had to give the alarm 3 times. Groaning, I sat up. It took all my strength to climb out from under the covers. I still felt shaken from those nightmares. They were just too real. I checked my hands. Normal. No claws. I yawned and stretched. I could smell bacon frying downstairs. It was Friday. Bacon and scrambled eggs day. Mom believes in a big breakfast. She says it gets you going for the day. I needed to wake up and get going strong. This afternoon was the next competition for the scholarship, the bowling tournament. I squeezed the claw under my pajama shirt. I needed all the luck I could get. Bowling is not my best sport. I took a hot shower, then I went to the closet to pick out some clothes. I pulled my best jeans from the top shelf and my favorite t-shirt, the red one with the big black thumbs up on the front. I started to pull on the jeans, then stopped. I squinted at the front. What was the dark stain on the front? A big dark circle around the zipper? It made it look like I wet myself. Oh well, no way I could wear these jeans to school. I heaved them to the floor and went back to my closet for another pair. Then I raised the t-shirt over my head and started to pull it on. Oh wait, I couldn't believe it. Both sleeves had big rips in the armpits. The shirt was totally torn. Mom would never let me wear it to school. I sighed. My favorite t-shirt? Ruined. I tossed it on top of the stained jeans and went to choose another one. What was up with my clothes? How did they get messed up just by sitting in my closet? I went to the bathroom to brush my hair. It's thick and wiry, and I can't really get it to stay flat or anything. But today, I heard a snap, and the comb broke in half. Huh. I stared at the 2 pieces in my hand. This day was not off to a great start. The claw bounced against my chest as I hurried down the stairs to breakfast. Mom was dressed for school. She stood at the stove, poking the bacon. Out the window, I saw Dad watering his tomato plants. Mom turned. "No more nightmares?" I shook my head. "Nah, I slept fine. But my good jeans, the new ones, they have a stain." Mom pointed to the fridge. "Pull out 6 eggs," she said, 2 for each of us. She never really hears me in the morning. Too much on her mind. I decided I'd tell her about the jeans and t-shirt later. I pulled open the door to the fridge. The eggs were on the top shelf of the door. I reached for 2 eggs, then stopped. Whoa! I heard a cracking sound. The sound repeated all down the row of eggs. Crack, 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 crack. I let out a cry as the eggs cracked open and scrawny, wet claws came poking out. A dozen sticky claws clenching and unclenching their bony talons.